I'm about to ask you all to sit in a whole lot of discomfort so that we can collectively learn together from this experience, including the person who created the video on whose this comment was made. And with that, Masa el Khair, everybody. And I'm Mo Davis, the Tribals Outsider. I want to preface by saying there is no situation where someone who has privilege over another should dox the person they have privilege over. And there's been a lot of discussion about this white American nurse, female, who is being doxed and illegally having their information threatened to be leaked by a business owner, which is disturbing on a whole other level, who happens to be white cis male. Now, before I saw the video where this comment was made, I saw another video by that same nurse talking about how she appreciates the support, but she wants to bring attention to the fact that before she was getting threatened to get doxxed by this content producer, that many Black and Indigenous women were also threatened by this Islamophobic anti-SWANA content producer who happens to be a member of the LGBTQ community, if I understand correctly, but is still a cis whitey male. And there seems to be a lot of talk about the humility required to recognize that this individual is Islamophobic and anti-SWANA. Now, knowing this and knowing that the rift between them happened because they used to be friends, because he's a zombie and she's openly pro-Philistine. So that's when he threatened to dox her, okay? Now, here's where things kind of fall apart with the video on which this comment is made. It's been about 6 months, and it's not like you're claiming to have just learned about this and you're a new ally. You claim to be a regular ally. And again, I don't know if you're going to see this video. You only have 29 comments on that video, so I'm hoping that you do. So you've been aware now of this situation, specifically regarding Philistine, probably less aware of the full situation in regarding the dehumanization of the full SWANA population. Because this isn't a factor of specifically Muslims. It's actually more so a factor about the dehumanization of SWANA people. And it's very much a land grab attempt because of the land resources in those places. But seeing as you've been educating yourself for a good 6 months with many other individuals, you should be aware of the BDS movement. And being a member of the BDS movement, being an active ally, you would know that TB supports the Blue Star Nation financially in a large quantity of numbers because they're a part of Pepsi. And herein lies where I have to call out your performative allyship, or even worse, your conditional allyship. And I'm inviting everyone, including the original producer of that video, to sit in this discomfort and learn. Performative allyship is when someone pretends to be an ally to further their own benefits, their own privilege. They have something in it for them. Conditional allyship is just as dangerous. And so it's come to my attention that you have a Taco Bell tattoo. You have a relationship with that brand of some sort, and you're quite attached to the brand. But you know what else? Philistines are attached to their lives. They're attached to their children's lives. They're attached to their loved ones' lives. They're attached to their land, and they're attached to their freedom and their humanity and their right to exist. And if you have a relationship with Taco Bell and you continue to maintain that relationship, that means the limit of your allyship is your comfort. Because it is uncomfortable for you to sit with the fact that something that you hold dear is causing harm to people that you claim to care about. And I'm using harm as a very gentle word here. And so this is a moment of my free labor to educate all of you. One of the things that I offer in the course that I offer, which is conditional allyship, its definitions, how we identify it, and how it's a major, crucial part to eliminate part of ourselves in order to better ourselves and become authentic parts of humanity. True allegiance should not be conditional of our comfort, of what's easy. And I know many people out there feel that way. We see the extreme cognitive dissonance of evangelicalism, or however that's called, in holding on to a scripture so much that they allow the dehumanization of people. Any religious fundamentalism really does this to people. And we also see things like the Starbucks and the Stanley Cups and the Taco Bells. And I'm going to put this in a narrative that is so simple that my 5-year-old understood what boycotting is and why it's important. And this isn't to ridicule all of you. This is to say that this is a very simple way to communicate, and you can use this as a tool to communicate not only with adults, but also with children. Because for children, letting go of comfort can be really hard. One of my son's favorite things was Legos. He loved them so much. Every birthday, he'd ask for Legos. And so when we began our boycotting, as a family, we decided it was going to be a blanket boycott of everything we learn about that funds a Jello-side somewhere, but especially a Philistine. And when he realized that Legos was on that list, my son wept. He didn't cry. He wept profound grief. And he asked me if he could still get the Legos. And I told him, you are your own person. You can make the decision for yourself. But I would not be responsible if I did not tell you what the consequences would be. And the consequences of you buying Legos and asking others to buy Legos may mean that somebody else will lose their mommy because she will be murdered by the booms funded by that Lego purchase. Now, my 5-year-old wept even harder when he realized that it meant that someone could lose their mommy. And he told me he never wanted to ever consider his like for Legos over somebody else losing their mommy. For me, it would be somebody losing their baby would be my peak example as an adult. But this is the lesson we have. If your relationship with Taco Bell is worth a child being parentless, limbless, a mother or father being childless, familyless, people being friendless, foodless, homeless, then remain in your cognitive dissonance. But cognitive dissonance, if left unchecked, becomes willful ignorance. And together, we all need to sit in that discomfort.